and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Before we get started tonight, I do have a couple of announcements. Last week, Cornell Cooperative sponsored a presentation here at the Town Hall, which films will be run on Channel 22. Presentation on floodplains, flooding, and flood mapping. Anybody who's in a floodplain or like myself is now required to purchase flood insurance, even though you've never had a flood claim, cannot be really thrilled with DEC and their flood mapping. Well, it's FEMA, DEC, and flood mapping. So Cornell Cooperative brought in a gentleman. He gave a very, very good speech to make us understand why they're doing this. Still not happy with it because it's raised my premiums an awful lot. So, and I know a lot of people in the town of East Fishkill whose premiums have been raised quite a bit. But one of the things that came out of this, and one of the gentlemen that from the town that attended this meeting was one of our engineering assistants, Rick Witt. We watched it, and the fellow from DEC said that if you're in a community that has taken certain steps, you can actually do what they call, it's called a community risk assessment, something like that. And you can actually get your town-wide risk assessment lowered for flooding, which will reduce all of ours, the premiums that we have to pay for flood insurance. So we'd never heard about this before, but when the gentleman said that, I looked at Rick looked at me, we went, we're on to this. We've done a lot of things in the town of East Fishkill. We just set up our flood hazard mitigation plan to address flooding. We have had MS4, we do it through our annual report every year. We just had an audit from DEC on our flood mapping and flood mapping procedures. So there's a lot of things we can do. So we're going to start on getting our townwide flood risk assessment lowered, and hopefully that'll help everybody out that has, like myself, is not happy without paying an extra premium on our homeowners insurance for flooding. So it was a very good seminar, very good presentation. I have to thank Cornell Cooperative, and we'll see what we can do about lowering this insurance premium for the town of East Fishkill. That's that. One other thing, I got a phone call last week from a woman who is just very thankful about some of the things we do here in the town of East Fishkill, and she brought her granddaughter, anyway, to Red Wing. I said, would you please write me a letter to this effect? I said, it's really nice that you want to call and thank somebody. So this is a letter that she wrote, and she addressed it, she'd called me, but she addressed it to Bill Green. Bill, I've been a resident of East Fishkill for over 48 years and have seen many changes during that time. The reason I'm writing this letter is I was fortunate enough to be able to take my great-grandchildren to Red Wing Park for swim lessons. I truly want to compliment Bill and the staff you have chosen for Red Wing. They are a wonderful group of young people, so kind and courteous and very professional in what they are doing. Brad Restrick, from day one, went beyond the call of duty in respect to his position. Awesome would be my my adjective for him. Karen, teaching the level 1, is so dedicated in what she is doing. I do not know the names of all the staff. However, they one and all remember the names of my little ones. I did share with Brad a few days into the first week the reason for our little Jaden being able to learn to swim. And she concludes by saying she's so grateful that after many transfers with IBM, we ended up in the town of East Fishkill. It is a lovely town. And it's signed June Hodgman. And I spoke with June today. She stopped in the town hall. And again, I got to tell you, we've made some changes. Jen El Sharif had run our Red Wing program for many years. Jen left, and she did a great job. Now Brad Restrick is there. And it's just amazing to see the young people that are working together and I think making a great program. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. That being said, we do have a great a summer camp program here in the town of East Fishkill. Joyce Maroney has headed that up for, I believe, some 22 years. And Joyce has done a great job in building. When we were talking the other day, I asked Joyce, about the beginnings, and she said, well, it all started as a playground camp. And there were close to 600 children at that, or 450 children at that time. And as this progressed, it's got a little bit different because it got more structured, fees were charged, but then counselors were added, and a lot of help was brought on. And Joyce Maroney has really developed a key program for teaching the children in the town of East Fishkill. The other day, we were here, I said to Joyce last week, the other day, I said, boy, you picked a good time to retire. Because the first 2 weeks of camp, it was like 100 degrees and so humid, we felt so bad. One day it was so bad, we actually had the children come into the town hall and someone over to the community center. And I walked in to see what was going on. And I got to tell you, it's so inspiring because the children were playing, but they were very quiet, doing their thing with their toys and their games and stuff. And we had the counselors here, and the counselors themselves are so professional and so courteous. So Joyce, what you did is, I see these kids coming up through the camp, not only they learning to work together and play together, they're also learning responsibility, and then they become camp counselors. And these kids were so respectful. They stood up, they come over, introduce themselves, shake my hand. And I gotta tell you, it is so impressive. Joyce, you probably raised 10,000 kids in the town of East Fishkill. You've done a tremendous job. And again, when we went there the other day to see the counselors and everything, who started as kids in the camp. And I can't tell you how much this means to us in the town of East Fishkill. I think it's just phenomenal. So I really don't want to say any more, but we did get a plaque for you. We want to present a plaque to you tonight. And if you'd like to, I know Bill would like to say a few words, and I think there's going to be a few people on the town board that are going to want to say a few words. You can make yourself at home at the podium, Bill.
Joyce Maroney. I wrote this out because I made big letters so I can see without putting glasses.
Okay, so not that many pages, though.
On behalf of everyone associated with East Fishkill Summer Camp these past 25 years, I would like to thank Joyce Maroney for her outstanding leadership and incomparable dedication to this program. Over the years, I've been fortunate to have had numerous loyal and hardworking individuals running our various recreation programs, but it was Joyce who set the standard for recreation leaders. She demonstrated her loyalty and commitment by working 12 months a year for the 7-week summer program. In addition, every year Joyce assisted with our Halloween party, our Easter egg hunt, and our winter reunion party. At camp, Joyce always arrived early and always left late. She often coped with numerous unprepared events. A wandering bear by the tennis courts, an Anthony Weiner dress-alike on the walking path, and she always handled the situation expertly. Whether it was an unannounced thunderstorm or a 98-degree heat wave, Joyce always successfully dealt with the problem. But the most remarkable thing about Joyce, she never ever stopped smiling, never lost her temper, never lost her cool, and always had the children's interests, safety, and well-being as her main concern. On behalf of every camper, parent, counselor, and director who had the honor and privilege of working with you these past 22 years, thanks for all you've done. Joyce, you're the best. Enjoy your retirement, and always remember, you are East Fishkill Camp. Thank you.
Joyce, and I'd have to think our new director, Brad Bangle, is doing a terrific job. Obviously, he's not you, and there's always a couple little issues that we have to work out. Brad's doing a great job bringing the camp along. And the other day when we were there, and the kids had all the signs out there, and they said, Joyce, you're number one, gonna miss you, Joyce. Just really, really touching, and I do say this is really what you mean to the town and to the children of East Fishkill. Would anybody like to say anything, or we can give Joyce her plaque right now?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. I've known Joyce a long time. When I first moved to East Fishkill and my kids were little, they attended the camp. And I always appreciated what she did, and almost every single year I made sure that I wrote a letter and I sent it to then it was the Southern Dutchess News. It was always a safe place. It was a happy place. It was professionally run, thanks to Joyce. And to this day, I think she remembers just about every camper, certainly every counselor that was there. And as a parent, I thank you, Joyce, for all your years. Thank you.
Picture of your daughter.
Yeah.
Is that-
All right, well, let's step down. We have to get away from this DS here.
She's
We'll
got a
come
long,
down.
she's got a long speech.
You do
Would
have
you like to speak, Joyce? Come right up to the podium, please.
Thank you for your kind words, okay. Camp was my life, and it still is. I was telling Brad, I said, I live right across the creek over here, and that first week of camp was the worst. I could hear the kids playing, and which is good, though, because the kids are still having fun. Things are changing because of change, but life goes on, and the camp will go on. But I want to thank Bill Green, who was the best boss ever. He was supportive of me, supportive in all my suggestions for counselors, for assistants, constant motion. He's the only one I know that works part-time or has a part-time job and gets paid for a full-time, or vice versa. He has a part-time job. He has a part-time job, but it's like he works more than full-time. He works overtime. He works 80 hours a week. He's unbelievable. But I love you. I said it's been a pleasure. I had such a hard decision to retire. It was not an easy one, but my kids were after me, Mom. You know, I have one in Massachusetts, one in Maryland, and my husband. I have to thank my husband too, okay, for all his support. The kids used to call him Mr. Joyce, so he was a big help also. But they wanted me to visit during the summer, so I chose to leave now. I figured leave on a good note when things were well. Steve Kopchak was wonderful. Anytime I needed anything, I would call him. We needed new hoses, we needed paper towels, toilet paper. He was there in 5 minutes. He was wonderful. Tina, the best health director in New York State. She had 50 frequent flyers every day. Wonderful. She not only took care of the campers with her ease and her poise and never worried, no panic at all. She took care of the staff as well. We had our problems health-wise and also our therapy sessions. Can I just mention all the names of all the assistants? I mean, this is when it was a playground too. 1 or 2 years. Sue Seguin Summers, who used to be Cunningham. Kim Palumbo, I forget what her married name is now. Chris D'Amelia, Jeff Nasso, Steve Lowry, Keith Barker, Melissa Gerasi, remember, she was there for 1 year. Billy Lynch, Chris Douglas, Gina Berner, Jen DeSoto Kirschenheiter, and the most recent was Kelly McKeel French. We can't get those McKeels out of the town hall. She was only there 2 years, but she fit right in. It was like she was there forever, and she made my job easy. She even did some of my work for me during the day. It was great. 4 or 5 years, Bill Castaldi, who, it must be a good camp because he brings his kids there now. He worked there, and his kids come there now, right? Do they still come? Michelle Casantina Maroney, yes, it's my daughter-in-law. They actually renewed a relationship at camp and got married. Alicia Ricci Dorsman, Annie LaDuca, Kuka Mayalo, who is wonderful. I mean, they're all wonderful, but Patty Remy Colucci. Then there were my assistants for the past 7 years, okay. Brad Bengal, who's holding the fort down now, okay. And like I said, I know the kids are safe, they're having fun, and I'm not there. So something's doing right. And Jen Oppenheim, unfortunately, because of a conflict in personality and her convictions, she was not rehired, but because of all her hard work, her dedication, her passion, her work ethic, she was the best assistant ever, and I thank her for that. I will miss the staff and the campers terribly, but I'm enjoying retirement. Like I said, the first week was hard, but I'm loving it now. But thank you, Brad, for taking over. Okay, thank you.
Well, don't go sit back down, Joyce. Let's stand out front for a little bit. Forward.
You mean out in the parking lot? Because it's cooler now.
I think so.
About 50 yards in front of us.
I remember we built a slide, he was gonna
As long as I'm
build a
50
library
yards away
parking lot
from
at
you,
one point.
Peter.
And Lee, that was the time. But, let's stand out here if we may. Everybody in front of the, over here. Yeah, come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Everybody here's on the town board, everybody looks good. I'm gonna stand over here. There's a microphone. Just stand in the middle, please. Town board people, there we go. That was good. I'm just gonna stand over here because of the microphone. Joyce, the town of East Fishkill is going to present this to Joyce Maroney. In recognition of her many years of service as a director of the East Fishkill Children's Summer Camp, in appreciation for the distinguished guidance, devotion, and outstanding leadership that she has provided to the campers and counselors, Joyce Maroney is a true asset to our community. And Joyce, we wish you to have this plaque in our appreciation by the East Fishkill Town Board. Joyce, thank you very much. Stand here for a couple minutes and enjoy the picture taking, all right? All right, the picture taker has to be in position. She's working on it. Can we get, all right, what we're going to be doing, Bill and Tina. You have to come up. Honestly, you two really are such a big part of this camp. You have to come up. Mr. Troy, you want to stand up back here? Put your arm around Nick, I appreciate that. Are we good? Okay, the picture person says over here. Huh? Good one up your hair. I want to thank you for everything you guys. It hasn't been easy. You've been over there. You're doing a great job, and please keep it up.
Good, yes.
All right, I guess they're going now. Everybody's leaving. All righty. Thanks for stopping by. Jim, you know what? Now you're retired too.
No, Jim's going back to work now.
Jim, you go back? All righty. Now, speaking of work, now we have to get to work. With that, would the clerk call the roll, please? Oh, excuse me, 1 second. Donnie, are we okay with this?
We okay?
Okay. Would the clerk call the roll?
Councilperson Walker.
Present.
Councilperson Cassidy.
Present.
Councilperson Danke.
Present.
Councilperson D'Alessandro.
Present.
Supervisor Hickman.
Present. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Captain, would you close the door? They're still celebrating out there in the lobby. Okay, thank you. Next is approve the minutes. The Town Board has received the minutes of the June 27, 2013 Town Board meeting. Madam Clerk, has there been any amendments, changes, or modifications?
No, there hasn't.
There being none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 27, 2013 Town Board meeting?
So moved.
Do I second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is public comments on agenda items only. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on any items that are on the agenda tonight? Okay, there being none, under receipt and file, Madam Clerk, we have receipt and file the National Guard letter.
So I've been told.
Yes, we do. I'll give you a copy. I actually used that letter, and what this letter was the response to us, and it was also their negative declaration on the project that's being built in Stormville in Beekman. And We have actually written letters now to Senator Gillibrand and also to New York State Senator Gibson, asking for their help and having our concerns addressed. So I'll keep everybody appraised of the situation. Public hearings, there are no public hearings this evening. Resolutions, first resolution. First resolution is to set a public hearing to consider local law establishing the Department of Finance. This public hearing will be scheduled for August 22nd. Whereas the town board has previously appointed a town controller, and there are certain duties and functions that controller performs that must be delegated on an annual basis by resolution of the town board. Whereas the law allows that by local law, the town board can permanently delegate some of the financial duties of the town supervisor to the controller, and it is appropriate to have an outline of the duties and responsibilities of the town controller and his and her staff with respect to the financial functioning of the town. Do I have a motion to set a public hearing for August 22nd, 2013, to establish the Department of Finance?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Resolution number 2 is to authorize applications and agreements to provide water and sewer services to 18 lots in the town of Beekman from the Four Corner Water District. Town board previously authorized the acquisition of the Four Corners Water and Sewer. And, well, let me just cut to the chase. Tom, would you explain to us
Certainly.
what happened here? 'Cause
when
we
the
had
town,
done this a couple years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, well, now it's getting, zeroing in on the details. But WCI, which owned the water and sewer districts at Four Corners, had entered into an agreement with the developer of an 18-lot subdivision in the town of Beekman to provide water and sewer. When we acquired those systems, that contract was an obligation that was acquired. So through various meetings, et cetera, the town of Beekman has authorized the formation of a water and sewer company for those 18 lots.
Mm-hmm.
This resolution allows us to provide water and sewer service at 1.25%, so 25% more than what our residents will pay. It doesn't cost us any infrastructure increase. Our wells and treatment plant can provide the service without any modification, so it will enhance the revenue for the residents there, hopefully diminishing their costs. And this resolution authorizes the requisite applications to DEC, the Department of Health, and also the agreements between the town of East Fishkill, these two companies, and the town board of Beekman will also endorse the contract, acknowledging that should the companies fail to perform their jobs, it becomes the obligation of the town of Beekman.
Okay. Now, I think that was a sticking problem before. The town of
Correct, and
Beekman
we've
really
worked
didn't
out all
want
of
to
that
act on
with
this.
DEC, DOH,
Yeah,
everybody else.
okay. Scott, let me just ask you, I saw that there was a mention of we don't have to do anything with the water supply application, do we? Because I thought Four Corners water supply application from DC was based on the,
No, there will be an
Production of the
amendment.
wells?
There will be an
oh,
amendment.
there would be amendment
Yeah,
just because
and
of the
We
numbers?
have that for you to sign tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Glad we brought that up tonight.
Yep.
What is it, just because of the number being served? Is that the
And
amendment?
geographical area.
It was geographical.
It's
area.
outside.
Outside,
All right, okay.
So
Very
this will
good.
reduce the rates
correct,
somewhat for them.
somewhat, right.
And we're only responsible to the line of East Fishkill.
Correct, all our responsibility ends at the town line. There's a master water meter there, so we know exactly what's going across the line. Any infrastructure in Beekman is the responsibility of these two water and sewer companies or the town if they took it over.
Okay. Mark, when would this come on? We're starting to do our budgets now. So I guess as we're doing all of our budgets, our special district budgets, that would be coming on for the,
Yeah, we were just discussing that in this particular case because we're just gonna collect water and sewer rents.
okay,
It's a little different than districts inside our town, so.
okay.
we
Oh, so
really-
we're just gonna be,
When they go
Recognizing
online
revenue.
and we start charging
Oh,
them for the
good.
water and sewer, that's when we'll see that, which would be at least a year from now.
good, that should help our water sewer bottom line, correct?
Yeah, we're anticipating that the revenues will increase more than the incremental increase in expenditures, so.
Okay, oh, terrific. All righty, any questions, any?
If something goes wrong then we got a major expense, they pay a share too? Like if
Oh,
a line
yes,
busts
correct.
somewhere?
They're gonna pay whatever we charge our residents, they're gonna pay 1.25, 25% additional. So if we have to borrow to fix the well
So-
field or a water tank, they're gonna pay their share. The
But we
same
don't have
share
to-
as the residents plus 25%.
But if something breaks after the Beekman Town line, our
We're not
residents don't have to pay a dime.
No. Our
We're just
line ends
responsible
right
for the
with
town line, exactly.
So the development Stone Ridge,
Yes,
none of it is in the town of East
no,
Fishkill?
and it's 18 single-family homes.
And how did this come, they approached us?
Well, they had come to an agreement with WCI a few years ago when it was a private company. So when we purchased WCI, they also, I guess, the
It's been
option
before
came.
the Beekman Planning Board, we understand, for 5 or 7 years.
What is it, on the other side of St. Dennis? Is that where it is?
I don't know what it is.
That's the only place I
It's gotta be,
I
it's gotta be
think that's
past,
where
it's
it
gotta be
is.
past the back of St.
It's
John's.
on
Just
Moore
beyond
Road.
Benmore Road.
Yeah, Benmore Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We might add that as a
The
part
power
of
line
this.
goes right through.
They're gonna do some improvements to Bentmore, right where it transitions from 21 feet down to, it necks down to like 16 or 18 feet.
Oh, really?
As
Okay.
part of this, they're gonna adjust the profile and the width for a smoother transition.
Okay.
So when we purchased WCI, along came their agreements
option.
also?
Right.
And those residents know that they're paying 1.25% more?
Well, there's nobody there now. So as the homes, the developer knows.
Oh, the developer knows,
And then as
okay.
the homes are sold, that's
To
part
be
of it.
disclosed?
Right.
Okay. Any other discussion?
And I think I'd just like to add to that, that's the same factor that we pay Fishkill
Yeah.
for the water we
Yeah,
buy.
we didn't think that up
Shenandoah.
ourselves. We took that from our agreement with
Right.
with the contract with Fishkill. Which we're really thrilled with also, but at least this will be good water. Fishkill, I'm sorry, I shouldn't beat on Fishkill like that. I find them just a tad frustrating. Anyway, do I have a motion to authorize the applications agreement to provide water and sewer service to 18 lots in the town of Beekman from Four Corners?
So, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Number 3 is to hire a part-time dog control officer. Whereas the town board has previously appointed a part-time dog control officer, and it has been requested by the chief of police, Brian Nichols, to hire a second part-time dog control officer. We've interviewed, David Kurlander of Wappingers Falls has been interviewed for that position. He was interviewed by a councilman, representative, our liaison to the police department, Councilman Danke, also interviewed by the chief and the captain, and he just met with the town board. Do I have a motion that David Kurlander of Wappingers Falls be appointed as part-time dog control officer for town of East Fishkill?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Great, thank you very much. David's with us tonight. David, congratulations, and we look forward to having you on board. And if you catch a black Labrador running around Old State Road, lock him up. It'll teach him a lesson because he doesn't listen to me. So. All righty. Number 4 is to modify town board meetings in August. That's the way they've worded this. It is really to cancel the August 8th workshop meeting, and the town board will conduct the August 22nd meeting, regular voting meeting. I've been under a lot of pressure that this is the summertime. They told me it's summertime. We should not be having all these meetings.
Who said that?
I can't say which people said that, but I had to relent and give up one workshop. So with that, we're not going to be meeting for a workshop meeting in August. We will be meeting for the August voting meeting. So with that, do I have a motion to authorize the cancellation of the town board workshop for August?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I thought the board was going to want to come work that workshop just now, but, all righty, we won't meet in August for the workshop meeting. Number 5 is to authorize a drainage agreement as recommended by Planning Board on Mockingbird Court. I'm going to have to ask for somebody else to explain this one. We've been looking at this easement. There's a stormwater easement swap
Yeah.
due to a subdivision of a 2-lot subdivision at the end of Mockingbird Court, correct?
Originally what happened, right, Mr. Shapiro, an owner of property at, was that Purse Lane?
Yes.
Yeah, Purse Lane, came in to try to divide his property into 3 lots. There's some issues with the neighbors. So the compromise that's been reached is he's going to divide the property into 3 pieces. One will be a new building lot accessed off Purse Lane. Another piece will be conveyed to one property owner immediately adjoining it and merge into their lot. And another sliver goes to another house that faces Mockingbird. And as part of this, there's going to be a new easement to the town, 40-foot wide from the end of Purse Lane And there's an existing easement on one of the neighbors' properties that we've never used, so we're gonna release that one and accept the new easement.
Okay. Okay, the engineer okay with this?
Yes.
This works? Does anybody notify the highway superintendent?
Yeah, he's in concurrence.
And he's
it is
confirms that
subject
he's-
to his agreement.
He's in
already.
agreement with this?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Yeah.
What do we need the easement for? When do we get back to it?
It's
Stormwater
drainage.
coming down off the mountain.
It was never constructed in the original easement for whatever reason. Maybe they located the easement incorrectly, so we're just trying to correct the easement to fall in line with the existing drainage swale.
So we're just swapping land.
Basically.
Just an easement, right. Yeah. And actually, it goes from having been proposed as a 3-lot subdivision to only being 1 lot anyway.
Just better.
Now, let me ask a quick question. Are we actually going to construct this stormwater,
Well, the
area,
highway
or is
superintendent's
this just-
indicated as time goes on, he may utilize it, but he wants it with respect to anything from First Lane.
okay. All righty.
And the developer is doing some work on First Lane at the beginning of this easement to take care of whatever he's
Issues were up
creating.
there.
But the rest of it is just for possible future use.
Okay. Do I have a motion to authorize the drainage agreement as recommended by the planning board on Mockingbird Court?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Number 6 is to authorize property maintenance on certain properties in foreclosure that are in violation of New York State Maintenance Code, and bill this to the property owners. We had actually, last year, we had passed a law with a number of foreclosures and the issues with properties becoming overgrown and unkempt and non-maintained. We passed a law last year that would allow the town to go in and send in a contractor to do the work and then put it on the property owner's bills. It's a bit of a procedure, though, because actually what we have to do is we have to identify the properties, which our deputy zoning administrator has done, and then we have to notify the people. We have to find out who is the property owner, deal with the banks. Is it in foreclosure, is it still owned by private property, or is it with the banks? We have identified, I believe, right now, 5 properties that are still in need of maintenance and are in violation of New York State Maintenance Code, and the Deputy Zoning Administrator has gone out yesterday and verified that these properties need work. So what we're going to do, I believe, is we're going to have our Deputy Zoning Administrator meet with the contractor that we bid out the contract for earlier in the year, and they're gonna go out, take a look at the properties. We will do the maintenance. We'll try to get some idea of the price ahead of time, but I don't think, I tell you, some of these properties are gonna be a little bit of work. There's just not mowing. There's gonna be junk removal and that sort of a thing. And then in the end of the day, this will be billed to the property owners on their property tax bill. And as I said to our deputy zoning administrator, what I see happening is that, say we go in there next week and we clean these guys up, well, after that, there's gonna be actually a mowing bill, because in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, it's gonna be time to do more maintenance. So, but we'll monitor that and see how it goes. But that's where we are.
And could I just point out to the board that on your resolution, there were 7 properties. 2 of them are, have corrected
Yep.
by the notification, number 1 and number 3. So that brings us down to just 5 that's being proposed. So it's number 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 remain.
Yes, our deputy zoning administrator gave us a report just today, or just yesterday.
And the resolutions is 8 also.
Well, that's why we're going to amend the
amending it
resolution to
with-
say, as
Two
noted,
amendments.
as noted.
3,
What's that?
3 amendments.
What's that?
It said 8, but there were 7 listed.
We
Now
could
you're
just-
taking off 2 more.
Well, what we can do is we can just amend the resolution to say, as recommended by the
Those
deputy.
numbers.
Yeah, that way we don't have to put a number to it. As recommended by Deputy Zoning Administrator in her memo of July 24, 2013. These are the ones that are still in violation.
So then how do we, so like you said, in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they're gonna have to be mowed again? So then we have to do another resolution?
No, I think we'll be just maintaining this property, correct?
Well, I mean, usually what happens is some of the things that have to be cleaned up, there's trash, things like that, they're an eyesore in the community. So that will be removed, and then the grass, I mean, that's,
Well, what
that
would
may
happen-
not be as worrisome to the neighbors as the conditions that they're in right now.
But you know what, actually, Tom, Nick brings up a good point, 'cause I just assumed that now the grass, New York State law says that your grass can't be more than 10 inches high. So when
But
it hit
this
11
law
inches.
allows you to charge
But
back
we
the
would
cost to
actually-
the owner. It's a different process.
Right, now, so actually, we would have to cite them all over again.
Correct,
Do another round, but at
Correct.
least now we know who the owner is.
correct.
Okay, all right.
All of these are in foreclosure. We notified the banks, and there is a state law that requires banks to maintain property while they're foreclosing if it's vacant, and all of these are vacant. But, you know, only 2 of the 7 responded and did
Yeah.
anything. We do think one other one might cure itself. That's a bank in Texas that holds the mortgage on one of them. But the others will get the estimates and then lien it back against the property.
But
And
that's
then
a
when
good-
they pay their next tax bill, it will be paid to the town.
Pay
That'll
back
be
to
an
the town,
additional
but Nick,
charge.
that's a good point, because I just was thinking, my train of thought before was, we just go back out, but you're absolutely correct, we would have to cite them again, start the whole process over. But I could actually see if these are taken care of, they could be mowed again before the end of the year, you know, if Mary starts the process all over again.
Well,
But let's get them cleaned up first thing, and then we'll see where we go from there. And I do believe there's probably gonna be a few other properties following after this, so.
Now, were these chosen because residents complained, or how
Kind of
did
both.
it?
Residents complained, or else Mary was out on inspections and spotted them herself.
Okay.
And there are probably
Because I'm
many
sure there are a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It's
this
a
is just,
never-ending project.
this is just the beginning. So, all right, do I have a motion to authorize property maintenance on properties that are identified in the July 25th, July 24th, 2013 memo from the Deputy Zoning Administrator that are in violation of state maintenance code and bill to the property owners?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is budget transfers. Mark, do we have any budget transfers tonight?
Not tonight.
Okay. Very good. Public comments on general town issues. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on any general town issues? Okay, there being none. Next item is adjournment. The next town board meetings will be the workshop. Next workshop is September 12th, 2013, and the regular workshop, the regular voting meeting will be held on August 22nd. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
If I could just make one comment?
Absolutely.
Sorry, Mr. Supervisor. A gentleman was in the town hall the other day with a banner asking permission to put it up in recognition of a championship that was won by a baseball team that he coached. It seems that the 2013 East Fishkill Cal Ripken 10 and under baseball team won the Eastern New York District 3 championship, which is a pretty big deal. So, of course, there is a banner hanging on Field 1, and the names of the players are all on the banner. So congratulations to the players, coaches.
That's great.
Yep, thanks for bringing that up, Bill. I knew you were gonna get me in trouble on that one, but congratulations. Which team was it?
The Cal Ripken
Baseball, Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken team? No,
The-
Cal Ripken,
the
what was the name of the team?
tournament, Cal Ripken.
It's a
tournament.
Cal Ripken
It's a
league.
travel team.
It's
Oh,
a
it's a
travel
travel
team.
team.
It's an all-star team,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good for them, very good.
10 and under.
10 and under,
Yeah.
There you
okay.
go.
Cal Ripken was a baseball player.
Was he really? Okay. Bill knows my knowledge of sports knows no bounds.
You know what baseball is?
Knows no
Baseball, not
bounds,
football,
so. All right, with that, I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. And again, thank you for